Welcome back to ACB Wrestling Talk, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I'm, of course, your host, Alexis Carrillo, and let's get into some wrestling talk. Today is Friday, November the 29th, 2019, pretty much one of the last days in November for this year. But again, let's concentrate on the fact that it is Friday. So we also have SmackDown on Fox, where we'll get the Blue Brand's fallout from Survivor Series, where at Survivor Series they were just pretty much stuck in the middle. They weren't the victors. They couldn't beat NXT and declare themselves the supreme brand, but at least they got one over Raw. When I say one, I mean literally one more win than Raw. So they're gonna have all that to deal with, but not only that, we'll also get to see a new face in the Firefly Funhouse presented to us by the Fiend, by Bray Wyatt, by the new, well, not new, you know what I mean, by the Universal Champion himself. The thing is, I see a lot of fans speculating on who this new face might be. And barring or the fact that he might be talking about a brand new character, like a brand new puppet that he might introduce for the actual Firefly Funhouse, which I don't think it's time to do that. I think they have enough puppets. The Firefly Funhouse hasn't been around for that much that it gets stale, and each of their puppets get stale and boring and repetitive. I don't think it's been so long for that, but I think what they're talking about is that Bray Wyatt is going to reveal a new face, which means it's a new picture of another victim. In this case, Daniel Bryan, who lost to Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series. And now Bray Wyatt might be looking for another new challenger, whereas I believe that's not going to happen. It's the end of the year. There's not really many baby faces that they could pair Bray Wyatt up against. And Daniel Bryan's story is far from over. He still needs, it appears he still needs to get to being back to the Yes movement, possibly. They've been teasing that. They teased that, I believe, a few weeks ago on SmackDown. I think they might be pushing towards that, and in order to do that, what better heel to pull that off out of Daniel Bryan than Bray Wyatt. So I'm fully expecting Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan round 2 at TLC. Whether it be a TLC match, a tables match, a ladder match, a chair match, whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters is it's going to be Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan at the December pay-per-view. I caught it right here, folks. And if you're looking for a regular SmackDown preview, it doesn't seem like WWE has that in spades. The preview that they presented to us on the WWE.com website is the fact that it only has one thing, and that's Bray Wyatt presenting a brand new face on the Firefly Funhouse. But I also want to point out the fact that you've got Roman Reigns, who led Team SmackDown to victory. I believe Team SmackDown won that 5-on-5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series elimination match. So you got that going for the big dog, but Reigns also has to deal with the fact that he's got to deal with King Corbin and his quote-unquote royal subjects, which I state again, should not be following Baron Corbin around just because he's the king of the ring. No, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode have done much more than to be considered a higher version of the B team on WWE television. That's what I believe. But again, at TLC, we're going to be seeing Roman Reigns versus King Corbin at TLC. It might be one of the specialty matches. You never know. Fans love to watch King Corbin get his comeuppance. That doesn't always happen as much as it should, but it will. And as long as you pair King Corbin with Roman Reigns, Reigns is going to get the biggest babyface reaction that crowd can possibly give, because nobody or very few people like the King Corbin character. So that's that. And we've also got to deal with the SmackDown Women's Division. Who's next to challenge Bayley? If you ask me, I still believe that they're going towards a heel Bayley versus a babyface Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. But who's next? Again, they have to build up the SmackDown Women's Division just like they did back in 2016 with the first draft, because it's a pretty, I hate to say it, pretty weak division. I mean, you got Dana Brooke, not much of a character, not much of a wrestler. You've got Nikki Cross, she's got more road to cover in order to be an actual threat to Bayley. You've got Alexa Bliss, who I believe is currently out with an injury. Yeah. Lacey Evans, she's a heel. I don't think she's going to be turning babyface anytime soon. So, yeah, WWE's going to have to figure that out with the SmackDown Women's title for the next 4 or 5 months. Well, 4 months. They can start planting the seeds between Sasha Banks and Bayley very, very early in the WrestleMania season. On Twitter, we've got BR Wrestling starting a debate who would they put on their wrestling Mount Rushmore. Now, many fans chimed in, tons of them with their own picks, with their own opinions, and that stirred up a lot of controversy. But the great one himself, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, chimed in with his own version of the wrestling Mount Rushmore, where he pretty much stated these men as part of his wrestling Mount Rushmore. He went with Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Gorgeous George or Bruno Sammartino, and Stone Cold Steve Austin in his Mount Rushmore. Now again, this is everybody's opinion. I'm not going to criticize some guy's list because it's in his taste. It's his opinion. It's how he views professional wrestling. If you ask me, my Mount Rushmore for professional wrestling, it's pretty damn easy. You gotta go with Hulk Hogan. You gotta go with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You've gotta go with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself. And, controversial pick right here, you gotta go with John Cena. That's my Mount Rushmore. Maybe in the future I'll make a separate individual video explaining why they are in the positions that they are on the Mount Rushmore. But for now, that'll do. Hogan, Austin, Rock, and Cena, my wrestling Mount Rushmore. And, The Rock has many things to say on Twitter, but who else has a lot of things to say? One guy who has his own podcast, one guy who's one of the most famous and most required interview guests in professional wrestling today. I'm talking about the 6-time WWE champion Stone Cold Steve Austin, who recently spoke to State of Combat, where he pretty much gave his opinion on CM Punk returning to WWE via the Fox Sports show Backstage, and whether he thinks that AEW and NXT are in an actual ratings war or not. And I quote, "I don't know if it leads to anything more," this in regards to CM Punk returning to WWE via Backstage. "I guess speculation to be determined. We will find out. Just the fact that he returned to be doing business with WWE, I love, because I know they split up on bad terms, and now they are back in business together. CM Punk was a lights-out pro wrestler. Great promos, great work, great talent. So to have him back into the fold, obviously they iron whatever they need to iron out, and both sides are happy. It's great to have CM Punk back in the pro wrestling sports entertainment business. I think it's a breath of fresh air because the guys bring in a great perspective, great insights, great opinion on all things sports entertainment." And of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin being the neutral guy, he of all people knows how it feels to end things with WWE on bad terms. He walked out back in 2002 because he wasn't okay with putting over Brock Lesnar on a Monday Night Raw episode with absolutely no build, but he eventually returned for his retirement run in WWE. So he has definitely got some experience in that area. He's also got some experience in being a great wrestler, a great promo, a great superstar, a great all-around performer. So, and he's pretty much in the right state of mind, considering that many fans want him back in a WWE ring. They want him back wrestling, myself included. It's not going to be enough with him returning to backstage, as proven by the ratings or by the viewership. Sure, got a bump because CM Punk appeared for the first time on a wrestling-related show, WWE-related show, but at the end of the day, he's just an analyst, he's just giving his opinions, and it doesn't seem like he's going to get too embroiled in any kind of personal rivalries or vendettas against anybody in the leader of sports entertainment. But not only that, Stone Cold Steve Austin also had this to say about AEW versus NXT, and I quote, "I believe in competition. I think competition is outstanding, and I loved it when we were competing in WCW. AEW is doing their own thing, so I'm not sure if you have turned on YouTube lately and checked out NWA Power with that studio-style wrestling. That is pretty fresh and entertaining to see, but I love competition. I love the fact that NXT is on the USA Network and not just the WWE Network. They have their head-to-head thing going on, which is cool. AEW is doing their own thing, and WWE is doing their thing, and when you see kind of when the business was down a few years ago, and to see where it is right now, with so many different shows and Tuesday shows on Fox, and the Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, I just think more guys and gals in the business getting paid than a few years ago, so the fact that everybody's making money, I love it." So not only did he talk about competition, he talked about AEW and WWE, but he gave NWA and their brand new studio style show, NWA Power on YouTube, a shout out, which is pretty big because he himself adds himself to the list, to the long laundry list of guys who have mentioned and pretty much prayed NWA Power. Among them, The Rock himself. Moving on to our fourth segment, Mike Kanellis talked about why he requested his WWE release and why WWE, in his opinion, did not grant his release. He spoke to the Smarks and Stripes podcast, and he had this to say about why he requested his release back in October 14th, 2019. At least that's about the time frame when it was reported that Mike Kanellis requested his release. And I quote, "For me, it was all personal. It had nothing to do with the company. Since the minute I got to WWE, they've treated me great. They've treated my wife great. They've treated my daughter great. They've treated me great. When I came out and said that I had an addiction, there was no negativity from anybody. It was just constant support. And so for me personally, having been almost 2.5 years sober, it got to the point where I started reflecting on my past, and what I did, it became very hard for me to almost sit and reflect on the fact that I blew 4 years of my life doing drugs, and now I felt like my mind is clear, my head is clear, and I just wanted to work. I just wanted to wrestle. I just wanted to work. Like, I feel like I could do and have my best matches right now, and it's extremely difficult when there are so many people on the roster and you just don't get that opportunity." And Mike Kanellis isn't lying. He's pretty talented. If you don't believe me, watch his work from Ring of Honor and from Impact Wrestling, where I seriously hope that he would not leave the company because he made such a outstanding debut back in 2016. He was the one who ended EC3's undefeated streak, a streak that started for years. So it's obviously Impact Wrestling had bigger things in mind for Mike Kanellis, back then Mike Bennett. He decided to move on, and now he's talking about how he is sober, which everybody should be happy about. And it's also another proof that, you know, having a family and having a daughter in his case, and I believe a newborn baby right on the way, could change somebody's life for good. But Mike Kanellis just wanted to wrestle. He just wanted to perform, and being that WWE has anybody and everybody signed up on their roster, he doesn't quite get as many opportunities as he probably could or should. He also spoke about why he thinks WWE did not grant his release, and it's very straightforward. It's very much to the point, and it makes very much sense to me, at least. This is what Mike Kanellis had to say, and I quote, "As far as not giving me my release, I think it's like anywhere. The Patriots aren't going to release someone they think the Jets are going to pick up, and I think we have to think of it like that. It's not negative, that's just how it works. It works in sports, and it works in wrestling." Again, pretty straightforward, pretty much to the point. You don't want to release talent that other companies, other competition can take advantage of. So, and in Mike Kanellis' mind, WWE obviously sees some value in him, so for WWE not to grant his release and have him go to AEW or back to Ring of Honor or back to Impact Wrestling and be a major player over there and help them gain some notoriety and some entertainment value. I agree with that, because we've seen that in the past. Jon Moxley, released from WWE, he's now at AEW making a big statement. The same with Chris Jericho and many, many others on the AEW roster, not only from WWE, but from other companies in the American wrestling industry as a whole. And finally, we get to the fact that Angelina Love, current Ring of Honor superstar, talked about Kelly Klein's issues with the company. She recently talked with AfterBuzz TV, where she pretty much discussed her time in Ring of Honor and what she thinks of this entire Kelly Klein drama. And I quote, "I'm having a blast in Ring of Honor. I know apparently things went down, and I was on a very relaxing and fun vacation with my son in Florida when all of that stuff went down, so I'm actually not privy to how it started. Who did what, the background. I was just like lying on the beach with my son enjoying life. I cannot deal with the drama right now. But I don't even, you know what? Even when there is wrestling drama and there is stuff that happens, that goes on, I don't even want to know. Everybody's got drama in their personal life, and going to work is almost like, an escape from everyday life and real life stress and drama. So, like I said, I was just having a great time with my son, and I don't know the details. I don't know the background. I don't know who started what or why, who said. Mandy, Velvet, and I were doing our thing, and we were having fun." So, pretty much textbook response from a current company superstar. Kelly Klein has issues with Ring of Honor. There's reportedly she got fired while still being injured by Ring of Honor due to her multiple comments on social media about the company not having a concussion protocol and not protecting their superstars and their wrestlers and their performers, and not doing anything about it. That's the main issue. That's the main gist between Kelly Klein and Ring of Honor. And what Angelina Love states is pretty much good PR 101. She states the fact that she's having fun in Ring of Honor. She's doing great in this company. She's not going anywhere. She's loving her time in Ring of Honor. And when asked about this entire drama, this entire issues with Kelly Klein, who I'm not aware if she's friends with or not, but it seems that she might be, because she's not commenting on her personally. But again, she's keeping it very professional. She's keeping it very low-key, I'm a Ring of Honor company girl. That's Kelly Klein's issue. That's not my issue per se. I'm just concentrating on me and what I'm looking forward to doing with Ring of Honor in the future. Again, very good PR response by Angelina Love, and I wouldn't expect anything from anyone else. I wouldn't expect anything more from anyone else. Again, you have to protect your own job. You have to protect your own neck. That's just how life works. So with that said, that's been today's episode of Wrestling Talk on this beautiful Friday morning. And we're about to get into December. Next week's show, Monday, it's going to be December of 2019, the last month of this year, being that it was Thanksgiving just last night. I'm very thankful for where I am in my life. I'm thankful for, and again, I should have done this speech yesterday, but I'm doing it right now. I'm very thankful for you, the audience who gets to tune into this wrestling show, a wrestling talk show, as much as you possibly can. I'm thankful for the 2 jobs that I'm currently working right now. I'm thankful for being as healthy as possible and having all my family be as healthy as they could possibly be. And finally, I'm thankful for, being alive and actually breathing on today's, and hopefully for more and more days to come, God willing. So with that said, have a happy weekend. That's it for me. See you Monday.